In Russia, the first hydraulic complex since the Soviet era has been built, an extremely complex project that is part of the strategic unified deep water system of the European part of the country. It will eliminate the bottleneck on the Don River and allow large tonnage vessels to pass through it. And this in turn is directly connected to the north-south route and the ongoing war against Iran. We will talk about this and about the new hero of the week in today's episode after a brief summary of positive news. The Soyuz 2.1, a launch vehicle successfully launched from the Plesetsk Cosmodrome for the Ministry of Defense. The engineering troops have adopted a universal armored engineering vehicle at the Okskaya shipyard. A Krabilov of Project 5712 LS was launched. In the Altai Republic, the first autonomous Russian shuttle L-5, based on artificial intelligence technology, has started operating. Production of Nexat all-terrain vehicles has started in the Volgograd region. Sol Solars has launched the production of 6-speed manual transmissions for light commercial vehicles. Production of medicines for 13 types of cancer has started in Moscow. Production of building structures has been launched in the Moscow region. In the Kemerovo region, the second ball-rolling complex has been launched. A welding robot plant has been opened in the Kaliningrad region. Russian school children became winners of the inventors competition in China. On Tuesday, the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, opened the first stage of the Bagaevsky hydraulic complex on the Don River in the Rostov region via video link. A hydraulic complex is a set of structures that includes a spillway dam, a navigation lock, and other facilities designed to improve the navigability of a problematic 85-kilometer section on the lower Don. Previously, during periods of low water, the river would become shallow here, and sandbars would form in the fairway, which hindered the passage of large vessels. The hydro-engineering complex is designed to ensure a depth of at least 4 meters in this section. For this purpose, a dam was built that blocks the river and raises the water level upstream, creating an artificial reservoir. And to allow vessels to navigate the change in elevation, locks have been constructed for them. In addition, dredging has been carried out along the entire 85-kilometer section, during which reservoirs are being deepened, and more than 50,000 cubic meters of soil have already been removed. All this will allow large tonnage fleets to pass and will strengthen the connectivity of the strategic, unified deep water system of the European part of Russia. This way, we have completed a project that was conceived at the beginning of the last century. Yes, back in 1912, it was decided in our country that a system of hydro-engineering structures should be built on the Don, and they even began their construction. But then came the First World War, then the Revolution, the Great Patriotic War, and new post-war construction tasks adjusted the plans. As a result, it was decided to build the Bagaevsky Hydro-Engineering Complex, the last in the cascade of lower Don hydro-engineering structures, only as part of the 12th and final Soviet 5-year plan. But at that time, the Union was already collapsing and couldn't handle such a large-scale project. That's why only in 2018 did Russia finally initiate the first stage, which was completed this week. And here's why this is needed. Take a look at the map of the aforementioned unified deep water system of the European part of Russia. This system of inland waterways stretches for 6.5 thousand kilometers and connects the White Sea, the Baltic Sea, Lake Onega, and Lake Ladoga, the Volga, Moskva, Kama, and Don rivers, as well as the Caspian and Azov Seas. It features hydroelectric power stations, reservoirs, hydraulic structures, and includes some of the greatest man-made canals. For example, the White Sea-Baltic or Volga-Don canals, and this entire complex system functions as a single living organism. It helps combat river shallowing, protects adjacent areas from floods, and supplies fields and farms with water. But most importantly, It allows not only river vessels and River Sea-class ships to pass, but also small sea vessels, including warships and submarines in surface position or in dock barges. This means that if necessary, the fleet can be transferred across the country's internal territory from south to north or vice versa. This is our undeniable strategic advantage, created by the hard work of millions of our ancestors who participated in these grand construction projects. But recently, another advantage has emerged. The unified deep water system has made it possible to establish a reliable link to Iran, since we are directly connected to it through the Caspian Sea, involving other countries as well. And this is something that is especially important today. Already in 2023, the Americans sounded the alarm. Bloomberg reported that there is an active exchange of sanctioned goods between Iran and Russia through the north-south multimodal route. Moreover, the West has no way not only to stop it, but even to control it. In its fullest form, the north-south route allows the countries of Northern Europe to be connected with the countries of the Persian Gulf and India through Russia. As it leaves Russia, it has 3 branches, one of which, the central one, connects our country and Iran directly through the Caspian Sea without any third parties. And it has become an important tool for bypassing sanctions, because what exactly is being shipped in the containers is unknown to the West. And when, after the war began, Iran was cut off from the sea routes in the south, the value of the northern route increased many times over. According to recent data from Russian railways, shipments along the north-south corridor increased by 13% in March 2026. That is, they have noticeably accelerated and are undoubtedly helping Iran get through difficult times, preventing a complete blockade. The Bagaevsky hydro complex is directly related to this, as it connects the waterways of the Azov Black Sea basin with the Caspian Sea. Thanks to it, after all the work on the Don is completed, ships with a draft of 3.6 meters will be able to navigate. This will allow the route's capacity to increase from 8 to 27 million tons of cargo per year. And this is a real factor of stability both for Iran and for Russia. And when the war ends and the route through Iran to India and other countries opens, the demand for the north-south corridor will increase even more. That's why the construction of the Bagaevsky hydro complex is so important. But that's not the only reason.
Даже без учета большой политики.
The project deserves respect because since the collapse of the USSR, we haven't built anything like this. Only Russian materials, equipment, and engineering solutions were used in the construction of the hydro complex. We ourselves developed and implemented the complex control system for the sluice gate drive, the dam gate, and other elements. So Russian engineers have reached a new milestone and now say they are ready to build similar facilities in other regions and countries. In addition, the development of navigation on the Don will lead to the construction of new logistics centers, fleet renewal, and overall development of river navigation in Russia. And the Special Fish Passage and Spawning Channel, which is part of the Bagaevsky hydro complex, will help restore the fish population in the region that has declined over the past decades. The full completion of the facility will take place in 2028, but the first vessels have already started passing through it. We will keep you updated on developments.